What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode in the Unleashed Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside Mr. Omar Hassan today.
Yeah.
I'm always used to saying Elmi and Jabbar first because that's the order we always sit in.
It will keep you on your toes, eh?
But yeah, Mr. Hassan and I are here today. We are very light today as a team. Two of the brothers could not make it. I think whatever sick leave they had, they decided to call in today.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to approve it. We can't decline that.
We can't decline it. We can't decline it. Constitutional rights, but hopefully they recover soon. But how you been, man? I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, you weren't. No, how you been? How's your back?
Alhamdulillah, completely recovered.
Yeah.
It was just a slight muscle injury, but
That's good.
alhamdulillah, all good. It's been a week since I was on the podcast, and then now some of the other boys. So that means I haven't seen them. No, actually, I've seen them last week. But yeah, it's been a week. Alhamdulillah, it's been a week of recovery, resting, milking it.
Did you go to the Eid festival?
No, I'm actually not one to. I don't know, festivals and don't really.
No,
they don't really drag me out. Not really.
Big crowds.
Nah. I remember yesterday, like, because last week was Eid, but then they had the festivals yesterday, and over the weekend. I remember waking up and then me and my wife, we just looked at each other. Should we go to the festival? Nah. All our families at the festival. Should we go? Nah. And then towards the night, it's like, all right, well, they're gonna have fireworks. Should we go? And I was just like, nah.
That's the third boat and you missed it.
Not really.
That's it, yeah. After
like,
the fireworks, it's game over.
It's game over. And voila, it's for the past couple of years as well. Like, I'd go to the prayer, I'd go spend time with family, but as soon as they decide we're going to the festival, like, that's my cue to go. That's always been my cue. So
wow, man. Nah, I love the festivals, man. Especially, it reminds me of Sydney, to be honest. Like Sydney, in just one suburb or one area, they'll have at least 5 or 6, and they're actually quite huge.
And the thing is, I remember that they would go for like not just here, just the weekend after, but like 5-6 weekends after. They'll still have it.
It'll still continue, and you'd be like, wasn't it Eid like last month? Yeah. But nah, this one I didn't go to it. My daughter wasn't too well, but alhamdulillah, she's doing a lot better now.
Alhamdulillah.
And I know those places, especially with a huge open field, that it gets really cold there, man.
It gets cold,
and you get tired of just standing around.
Not only that, like, especially if you have a kid,
it's too much.
It's too much. Making sure that they have fun first, no matter how tired you are, and 2, just keeping track. There's so many kids running around, and Allah bless our kids. When they see open fields, it's like they get a dose of, I don't know, what hyperactivity, something else.
They just want to run.
And they want to run over each other too. Wallah, so looking after them. But alhamdulillah, man, so this year, but Ramadan Eid al-Fitr, you attended the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wallah, you never know. Maybe next year, inshallah, we'll see again. I'll ask myself the same 3 questions and see if the answers are any different.
Inshallah, man. Inshallah. I think next year you won't do it, or in the near future, you won't do it for yourself. You might actually have to do it for your children.
Inshallah. At least then I'll have an excuse.
Yeah.
But no, man. I think we should get straight into our topic
absolutely.
for the day.
Let's get into
it. It's a topic that came out of a post that you actually put up on our social media page, which actually received a lot of thought, a lot of opinions, a lot of discussion, even from myself. Like, when I read it, I just said, "Whoa, let me take a minute." and the thing is, like, especially when you have a topic where it hits home and it hits home for a lot of people, and you see people taking it a different way.
Yeah.
And then
that's really interesting. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And then seeing all those different views, like, you need to have your own one as well. Because, like, for me, it was like, okay, well, I kind of agree with a lot of the people, but then is that how I really see it for myself? I said, okay, I need to take a minute.
Are you being true to yourself?
I can just say, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. But, like, is that my reason, or is that, like, my answer? And the question was, do you wanna?
Yeah, so firstly, before I even mention the question, I think this was the first time we actually did a chat group. It's a new feature on Instagram, but yeah, it was the first time we actually did it, and we didn't know how it was going to go. because I mean, some people could have just not commented, and it would just been just a question that you just keep to yourself. But alhamdulillah, we had some really brave people that actually came into the discussion. I think we had about 18, 20 members. Still going. So for the first time, it was actually really good for, you know, those people to actually come out and voice their opinion, and not only just voice their opinion, but have other people actually learn from it. I think one of the members actually, they mentioned at the end that this was really enlightening, and I actually learned a lot from it, and that captured basically everybody else's feelings.
Exactly, that was a sentiment we all shared.
Is that you actually learn from other people's experience, other people's opinions and viewpoints, because you see it from a different perspective. Now, even
that in itself, like when you are faced with something, like it's not just your way or the one way that you see. You know what I mean? And that was a testament to...
Yeah. And the question itself is more about, like, what is your opinion? And opinions are not fact. They're just that. They're just opinions. And everyone has one, and everyone can have one. And everyone, you know, there's no right or wrong answer to it. And, you know, it was really good to actually see all these different viewpoints. So, alhamdulillah, and thank you for all those that actually joined. And for anyone who actually missed out, I'd request that you just continue to watch our stories. Inshallah, we might post up another question like that, where you can actually get involved. And even if you don't want to voice your opinion, just come for the show. Come to actually listen, come to learn. Sometimes, you know, just reading other people's, you know, views and points, you actually benefit a lot.
Make you think and formulate your own.
Absolutely. So inshallah, for this particular episode, what we're trying to do is, and it's weird because it's not an actual normal Unleash Potential episode, because, you know, usually what we do is we come up with an episode and we have 4 people that sit down and give our point of view. Now, the reason why this one's different is because, one, we're actually missing 2 members, so it's just a discussion between me and Haji. And the second point is that it is not a discussion of our opinions, rather we're sharing so many of the jewels that were actually dropped in that discussion. That we feel like, look, it can't just be limited to these 20 people. We have to make an episode and actually share it with everyone else. And I'm sure I learned so many, and I picked up so many jewels, and I'm sure Haji picked 100%. Up as well. But without further ado, the question itself, if you haven't seen it on the story, is if you knew your dreams wouldn't come true, would you still put in the work? Now, that was the question, and most people just answered, like, I asked so many random people face to face, and they would just randomly answer yes or no. Now, my what I really want to know is why. What is the reasoning behind your answer? Why? Like, how did you justify not taking action, or how did you justify still taking action regardless of whether you get the end result of the dream or not? And I think it comes down to, one, understanding the question itself. Because I think a lot of people in the discussion, they raised the issue of, what does it actually mean to know that your dream wasn't coming true? Like, who actually put that confirmation on it? Who actually confirmed that it wasn't going to come true? And I think it was more around the fact that if you knew that it was highly improbable, right? Because we all don't know the future. But if you did have some sort of insight into the future and you got that confirmation, would it still stop you? Would it be an obstacle for you to actually have to overcome? Or would you just use it as an excuse and be like, well, I'm not going to get the result, therefore I'm just going to, I'm going to quit now while I still got the time and energy and the age and everything. But, just understanding the question and understanding what does it mean by dream. Like, when we say dream, we don't necessarily mean a fantasy or some place you're trying to go or something like that.
Something trivial,
Exactly. It's something specific, something clear, and something that you have in mind that you can physically try and attain and chase. But if you knew that the result was going to be 0, like all of this effort, 1 + 1 + 1 + 9 + 10, whatever, and it equals 0, would you still continue through that? Now, that was the question.
That was the question. And it's a loaded question.
It is.
It's a loaded question. And for me, I found for myself, in order to give any sort of plausible answer, I had to break it down into little compartments. Because the question is pretty much saying, as you said, if the dream, the success is highly improbable, and I got some sort of insight that that's where I'm headed, why would I continue? Right? So then it made me think over a few different factors. One, what is my dream? What am I trying to accomplish? Yeah. What is it that I'm trying to do? Is it worth, like you said, buying a nice car, going on a holiday? It's not a dream. Those are little goals, rewards, pleasures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it made me really think about what is my, when I thought of that, I went to the point where, okay, that dream that I'm working towards is it's a dream that if I achieve, I could say my life was lived well, right? So if that's the path that I'm on, am I okay if I don't reach it? Right?
Absolutely.
But then in order to reach that goal, I would have had to pick up a lot of habits, a lot of things changed, a lot of positives along the way, because that's where I'm headed, to a place of peace for me, right? And if I'm headed to that place, I'm not going to pick up, nonsense and rubbish and, losing good relationships.
That's right.
Picking up, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be picking up all these jewels on the way to what I deem peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, in that sense, yes.
Yeah.
Right? The next point I looked at it was, I do have a dream that is, for me, that I reckon will give me peace of mind. Right? And it's something that I slowly etch at every day. But I've already accepted the fact that tomorrow is not guaranteed for me. I've already accepted the fact that tomorrow I can die.
That's actually a good point.
You
like
get what I mean?
lot of people think they're going to live here for 20 years and then expect,
and then it's going to be a part
fruit.
of a success or failure, right? I've already accepted that tomorrow I might not wake up.
Exactly.
But does that stop me from putting in the work today for that dream?
Absolutely not.
That's my second confirmation. And then my third confirmation was, look at where we are today. We stand on the shoulders of a lot of unfulfilled dreams. From our parents, our ancestors, all the way back to the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahabas. How did this religion, this way of life come through to us? When people gave their lives and sacrificed so much to pass on a message that, like today, there's 1 billion plus Muslims.
Yeah, the freedoms that we have have been off the back of somebody else's sacrifice.
When it comes to back in the slavery days, there's so many things. Like where we are today is this. I can pretty much say we're on the shoulders of a lot of unfulfilled dreams, and you carry that torch on. There's some things that don't die. It's inherited. It's passed on. You know what I mean? And then I said, okay, well, is my dream one of those that I can pass on, or that somebody can lift up the torch to continue?
Exactly.
Yes, it is. And that's where I decided, if I knew that my dream was not going to be fulfilled, it was not going to be a success, I will still put in the work. So when I laid it out in that sense, I said yes.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, when the initial gist of the question hit me, I said, what's the point of working if I'm not going to get anything?
Exactly.
And I said no.
Yeah.
Right? But then I said, hang on, let me dissect the question in this manner.
Yeah.
And then I came with a totally different answer.
Exactly.
Which I'm happy about too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just makes you think on so many different
levels.
levels.
The good thing is that, and what I take from what you just said, the good thing is that it actually made you sit down and think.
Yep.
Because this question is designed to actually help you self-assess.
Exactly.
Look at yourself, look at your goals. Are the goals or the dreams that you have, is that the right dream?
Exactly.
Because if it is your dream and it is truly yours,
Yeah.
then nothing can stop you, regardless
Exactly.
of whether, even if it's the fact that you are never going to see the fruits of it. It's your dream.
It's your dream. It's yours.
It's yours. Nobody else can take it away.
Exactly.
It's yours to live out. Nobody else is going to live it out. This is something you constructed in your mind.
But then it also makes you think on the other side of the spectrum as well, right? If this is a dream that you are not happy to sacrifice, or that you think that even if I don't get it, I'm not happy with, when you do get it, was all that work worth it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
say your dream is successful, but it's not as big or as glamorous or as fulfilling as you thought it was. 20 years of work into it, you've achieved it. What now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your dream wasn't that important to you.
That's right.
You know what
That's right.
There was. What about you?
There were, like, for me, I just read through each and every single comment, and wallahi, man, I'm just telling you, each comment that came through, they had just gems upon gems, and I swear to God,
there's things to pick up.
Everybody that missed out on that chat group, really, man, I'm serious, bro. I learned so much. Like I said to you, just deconstructing the question. Like some people just answer straight away without understanding the question. The fact that there was someone in there that actually said that questioned the question itself.
Yeah.
That in itself, you know, was enlightening to me. Like, I actually looked at it and I said, hang on, did I actually ponder upon this question? Yeah. Was it formulated correctly? Were there some assumptions being made upon this question?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Before actually going ahead and answering it. And then what do these terms actually mean to me? What does a dream mean to me? Yeah. What does knowing actually mean to me? To what extent do I know? You know, all of these things. It's just, it's interesting to understand that once you understand the question, then the way you attack it will be slightly different as well. Yes. The second thing was the fact that that question, once you understood it, it made you and me and everyone else actually sit down and assess and think about themselves and say, hang on, this dream, if I never see the fruit of it, is it actually worth it? And, you know, just to sit down, reassess, and actually look into it properly. You know what I mean? And then just understanding what is it, because that in itself will generate more questions. Like, how do you know what the right dream is for you? Like, how do I know if I don't start? How do I know? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things. The other point that was raised in the discussion was the idea of regret versus not trying. Yeah. And, you know, there was a bit of discussion back and forth between, you know, a few of the people where they said the regret of not trying, even though you know you are going to fail, is worse than
the regret of trying and failing.
No. So the regret of not trying.
Yeah.
Okay. So say you actually took it and you said, okay, my dream's not going to come true. Yeah, I'm not going to try it. Now, in the back of your mind, even though you know you have that confirmation that it's not going to be successful, you would still doubt yourself and say, what if I actually tried? Yeah. Would I, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the regrets of what ifs.
That regret, that in itself, that outweighs like you actually trying and knowing that it actually is true, that it didn't actually work out. So it was just the idea between regret and not trying and so on. And then there was this other idea where is the goal the goal? Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I think you touched on it lightly where you basically said that if I never actually see the fruits of my labor, does that mean that the goal wasn't realized or cannot be realized? Yeah. Like maybe for you are not meant to actually see the dream itself. Maybe someone else was meant to see it. Yeah. And I think someone else in the chat actually mentioned this where they said it depends on the dream itself. Yeah. Like if the dream is for self-fulfillment, then that's something different because you need to be alive to actually, fulfill it. But if it's something that you're trying to pass on for generation to generation, then in your lifetime, even if you don't see it, it's not a big thing because you can pass it on. Exactly. Just like, for example, I'll give you a good example. Slaves. Yeah. When they were enslaved, or even the whole, racial injustice, all of these things, most of these people in their time, when they actually went through it,
all the protests and all the
protests and all the changes, they never got to see that freedom. Yeah. But we do. Yeah. And so their dream is actually being realized.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by we stand on the shoulders of a lot of unfulfilled dreams.
Exactly.
Fulfilled now, but not fulfilled in their lifetime.
The other point that was raised was, the idea of the process itself being the outcome or being the goal rather than the end goal itself. So, for example, if...
I seen that one.
Yeah, and I think that was actually a really good one as well because a lot of people resonated with that. They said, regardless of whether you see the goal or not, who you become in the process, what you gain out of it, the lessons that you learn, the values that you pick up, the discipline that you instill within yourself, the fact that you overcame the very notion of you not seeing the dream, that in itself shows great courage and great bravery. That in itself is a testament to yourself that you can do it. You can, and eventually what you get out of it is the goal in itself. Like who you become, how you transform, how you grow. That is the goal.
See, when that point came up, when one of the members brought up that point, I read it, and again, it's a point that makes you reflect over yourself, because knowing that your dream is not gonna get there, you're not gonna get there, right?
Oh yeah.
Now you can either see the process as a process of growth, or a process of just routine labor, where you get up, you go through the motions, you don't have that drive, you're not picking up anything along the way, right? And I think that was one of the points raised by another member. What is the point of putting in all the work if the dream is not going to be realized, right? So then automatically I seen two different views on the same topic.
Yeah.
One person chose to see it in a positive manner, where it's like, okay, well, in order for me to get to my dream, I've got to be changing my routine. I've got to be picking up all these things, which will give you other sort of successes along the way. Whereas if you look at it the other way and it's just repetitive labor, going to work, putting in the work. I came across this post on Instagram and Facebook one time where you've got two people on a bus. I don't know if you've seen it, sitting on both sides of the bus. Now, one person's got the view of the valley with the sun and everything.
Right.
And one person's got the view of the dark rocks of the mountainside.
Yeah.
And the caption was, the journey is the same.
Yeah.
It's just which perspective you take.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So that point there really made me realize, okay, well, for you to accept that you're gonna get there, you gotta accept that along the way there's gonna be hardships. But how you see that can either be achievements or punishment, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just endlessly working to a goal that I'm never gonna get, right? Or I've accepted that I'm not gonna reach this goal, but I'll put in the work anyway. What's the worst that could happen?
Because
that I could get the goal.
Yeah, the side effects.
The side effects, exactly.
That in itself, yeah.
And then once you've already accepted that you're not going to get it either way, like, you've got nothing else to lose. In fact, you've got a lot to gain, because if something does change, you've achieved your goal. You know what I mean?
The other one that someone else mentioned in that was the idea of not knowing what the dream is. Like, you might have a clear idea of what the dream is, right? But it's only once you're engaged in the process that you'll actually realize whether the dream is in fact the dream that you are after, or it has shifted. Because it might... So to realize your dream might take, let's say, 20, 30 years. Now, within that 20, 30 years... 10 years into the process, you might realize this is not actually the dream for me.
Self-discovery.
There's something else within that dream that I actually feel like I want to go after. For example, I'll give you a good example, right? Let's say you started, your dream is to start a baking business, and that's what you want to do. You want to bake, and you want to build a big business, whatever, and you have your own store and so on. And you want to sell to clients, and that's your idea, is to bake and sell, right? Let's say that's your dream. Now, somewhere along the way, about 5 years in, you realize before you actually establish this business to become a huge global name or a local name, and you have your own shop front and whatever, before you reach that point, you realize that you actually don't love the baking part. You actually don't love the doing the books part. You actually don't love the business itself. You actually don't. The only thing you love is just decorating the cake. That's the only part you like. Yeah. And so you've changed your dream from a person who wants this whole thing to a person who just wants this one aspect within this whole thing. You know what I mean? So the dream can change, and the only way you can realize is once you get started, regardless of whether you know it's going to fail or not. So if you knew that the dream of starting a huge cake business is going to fail, that's okay, because you've discovered a new dream.
A new dream.
You know
which you wouldn't have known if you hadn't started. You know?
Absolutely.
That's very interesting, because you have a lot of these people. You have people that would study, right? Like, just from early on, high school, uni, graduate, get a job. All right. Now that dream has been realized because you got the job, but then working in the industry after a year or two, you realize this is not what I want to do anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see that daily. People people all over the story. It's normal, right?
Yeah.
But then, just because this guy didn't or if you knew that he's not going to be happy to be a doctor or an engineer, does that mean he should not study? You know what I mean?
I know.
Now that he's become an engineer, he's got enough money to fund his new venture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why you should continue with the process.
I heard this one revert story of this one individual who basically said that my entire dream was to just become a doctor. That's all I ever wanted to do. Yeah. I think that was the degree that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's all they ever wanted to do. And so they studied their whole life, and then they finally got into this medical school where they were a non-Muslim at the time, but they ended up failing this class, right? Medical school. And so they didn't end up becoming a doctor. But along the way, what happened was they met someone who was a Muslim. Yeah. And they decided to talk about Islam and so on and so on. And till this day, he says, Alhamdulillah for that dream not working out, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have found Islam. Yeah. And Alhamdulillah for me pursuing it regardless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how good the side effects are. You just don't know until you actually get into it. So it may be nothing. You may not get anything. The only thing you might get is just personal growth. Yeah. Or it might be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to bless you with through this struggle.
Yeah, but then who's to say, okay, this dream is not going to come true? Who's to say that dream will not birth a different dream for you?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
As long as your intention, I think that's the main concept behind it is, what is your intention? Is it to just benefit yourself, or is it to benefit your family, or is it to why are you going after this dream? And it starts back up to understanding what you mean by dream. Understanding
exactly.
Like understanding for yourself, is it the right dream for you? Is it actually a dream that you need to fulfill? Is it worth the sacrifices that you're going through? Is it worth the risks? Is it worth all these years? Like, just self-assessing all of that. And I love the fact that we started off on the right foot. Yeah. We didn't just answer blindly. Yeah. I love the fact that the first person that answered that question answered with a question.
With a question.
You know what I mean? I love that.
Which is. Let me ask you a question. When you hear the word dream, what does that encompass for you? Is your job part of a dream?
No, I
think
your
day-to-day activities, or what do you encompass? What does the word dream encompass for you?
Honestly, I hardly. So, okay, for me, the way I see it is that when people use the word dream, I can understand what they mean by it. Whereas I might see it completely different. Yeah. Right? So the way other people actually view dream is that this is just one thing that I was brought on this earth to bring to life. Yeah. This is that's like it's synonymous with purpose kind of thing. You know what I mean? And this is what I would die to actually have. Yeah. Come to life. That's how I see other people see it. Whereas I think I don't like to use the word dream. I just like to use the word either goals, because it's something that you try and work towards. Goals has something that is that has achievable like a achievable sense, or it is something that is tangible, realistic, tangible, and something that requires your effort. Yeah. Whereas a dream is just something you've just been thinking about and you wish, and it shows that you don't necessarily have the capacity to actually fulfill it. You know what I mean? Like, man, I wish. It's like a fantasy kind of thing. Yeah. So for me, it has that connotation. So I don't like to use the word itself, dream. So I love the fact that other people actually question the idea. What do you mean by dream? Is it something that is, and that's exactly, how we wanted the discussion to go.
100%. And thank you to all the people that contributed. It was like, we're not, as Elmi always says, we're not experts in this. We are absolutely we are here to learn and grow together. A lot of these questions that are brought up on our social media is questions that we ask ourselves, like on a daily. We sit down at a cafe whenever we meet up. There's pretty much no small talk. Like, somebody's been thinking about something for themselves, and then as soon as we get together, it's like it's dropped, and then we talk about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's good to see a lot of people have their own views. Yeah.
So don't be afraid the next time we actually post up a questionnaire like that on Instagram.
Definitely.
And do follow us on Instagram because, I mean, we've just recently started Twitter, but, you know, a lot of us are slowly getting into that. We're more accustomed to Instagram, so follow us on that. And also, we're on Facebook as well. So whatever posts we have on Instagram, do reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll find them there as well. But that being said, do look out for those posts, because when we do drop it, we'll try and drop it as regularly as possible, maybe once a month or once every 3 weeks or something like that, because some of these things, you know, they require a bit of time to actually think about it, you know, and when we do drop it, we want a lively discussion. We want somebody to actually give well-informed discussion, and a lot of these discussions are not just about, you know, like they're actual discussions that can bring about improvements within people's lives, and that's what we try and hope to achieve. So inshallah, look out for the next questionnaire.
Definitely, I'm looking out for it too.
Yeah, so inshallah we'll try and if you actually do have any other questions, that's probably the best way. Let's reach out to our supporters as well. If you do have any of these lively discussions that you think would be very beneficial to actually have, drop us a message. Just say, yo, why don't you guys drop this for your next discussion?
Yeah.
And absolutely, we'll think about it and we'll put it up, and then, you know, we'll have a bunch of people discussing it. Definitely,
and hopefully learn from it, and whoever learns from any of these discussions, inshallah, the reward goes to you as well.
Absolutely, inshallah. Absolutely. With that, I think that
pretty
much covers it.
Yeah. That's us done for the episode today.
Inshallah.
Stay tuned. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our discussion as much as we've enjoyed yours. And catch you guys next time.
Peace.